this one since day one. She is my sister. I was
with some enthusiasm.
With 11 years of being
I
alone.
was the best birthday present.
And then here she comes. Like, literally, how many days? 3 days after my birthday?
We are 11 years and 3 days apart.
Yes. So we've been together all of our lives. All of her life. And then Kelly here.
I was adopted.
Forced adoption.
Yeah, she forced us to adopt her.
So.
She didn't like me at first.
No, I really did not. I did not get her. So she came up from Boston.
She didn't think I was a real person.
And was my assistant at the time?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Forced assistant. She didn't want
my forced assistant manager. And she drove me nuts because she was just so technical about everything. She had a chart for everything that you could imagine. And she's like, I ran this numbers. Look at this. Look at that. And I'm like, we're just selling bras. Calm down. So it took a long time for her to grow on me, but she was the only person I actually trusted to babysit my son. He was not even 2 yet. Yeah. And she stayed at my house, watched my son, and yeah, just like she told me she was gonna make me love her. Basically, that's what she said. You have no choice. You're gonna really love me.
That Aries energy.
And yeah, we became real close. And Stephanie was working at the same shop at the time, so we all three of us worked together. So we knew that we had a good chemistry and good balance, and so it was very easy for us to open the store together.
Fittings that change us as fitters.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. So this was the one that changed me as a fitter, and I was like, oh, this is why we do what we do. So I was fitting in the Bahamas at a small shop, and it was one of the last fittings at a night. It was this big fit event that we did, and the woman, we'll call her Deborah, came to the shop at the end of it because she'd heard about it on the radio in the morning. And she had a double mastectomy, but it was not so great of a surgery. But she'd also, in 6 years, had never come into a store to purchase a bra because she was self-conscious. She was beautiful, might I add. But her surgery, just for lack of a better word, was not so great. So I had to be very humble in that moment, realizing how much courage it took for her to come and be naked in front of someone in the first place. When you're in a fitting room, it's almost like you're bearing your soul, bearing a part of yourself. And for Deborah, that was her first time coming in and asking someone, can I be pretty? She was almost asking me permission. And I said, hell yeah! I'm gonna make it work. She never actually had a prosthesis, and where we were, they did not have prosthesis available. So I had to work with what I had in the store. I think she was like a 34C, if I remember correctly. I have a freaky memory, and I remember a lot of my customer sizes, even if it was like 6 years ago, which is when this fitting took place. I got her into, I wanna say like 12 or 14 bras. They all looked good and they all worked for her. Like, we worked with a lot of padding and push-up that was available. They were all pretty, all matching sets. She got some sleepwear and just a lot of things that made her feel good. She's like, I've never been made to feel like this in so long. I'm glad you came. I'm glad I waited for this. And I'm glad I met you. At the end of it, she brought everything out and she's like, I'm taking all of this. I was like, oh, okay, that's awesome. But it was more for her in that moment, for me to like look at her body and say, okay, we can do this, because I wasn't working with much. As a fitter, when you go in the room, you are doing some quick mental calculations. People think it's all about the measuring tape and just doing some math and you get a size, but sometimes you see breast tissue that's not, almost non-existent or not well formed is the nicest way I can say it. And it was a shock to me because I'd never seen anything like it before. And my heart went out to her because I can understand, as a woman, putting your things on and having a husband or having a significant other that you don't feel comfortable being naked in front of. And she had to like bring herself to that point where she could feel good being naked. And by the end of the fitting, I think it was like 30 minutes to an hour later, we got to that point where she felt that she could look good naked and like feel sexy for her lover. And that was like, for a fitter, for me, it changed my life.